Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming out. A little bit about me. I, like Will said, born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. I spent my my career started in commerce. I was at the original, hyperscale cloud Rackspace. Spent 13 years there, so I had a lot of experience around helping brands build their infrastructure to support their e-commerce businesses, so saw a ton in a variety of different platforms, but I decided to leave in 2019 to join one of the fastest growing Shopify agencies at the time. So I went over to help run growth for BVA. Did that through COVID, which was a lot of fun, crazy. I met a lot of the ecosystem partners in Shopify over the time, but got acquired by the stable and then acquired again 6 months later by Accenture Song. So I am part of an 800,000 plus organization, size of a small country, really. But I get to do really cool things with really big brands. And so the picture up there is my 14-year-old daughter, and then my dog for a baby. So I have one daughter and a husband, and that's my family. So we're here to talk about data. Data is really everything. I think the really eye-opening thing is over the last decade, brands have probably spent a lot of time focused on brand story, creative, UX, and the data was more of like a junk drawer. I would say that probably not, it didn't really matter, but with the shift to discoverability, it's a big piece of where you're going to get found by these agents. So this is an important topic and one that we're seeing constantly in our conversations with our clients. The world has changed. It is changed. It's happening now right in front of our eyes. I think if you think about brand loyalty, the agent doesn't care about your brand story. The agent cares about parameters and how good a quality of data you have. So we're seeing, the demand. I think the reality of it is, and if you look at these stats, 156% year-over-year growth in AI searches. It's happening. It's not. That's proof that this is not like a fad. That it's here, and I think that it really comes down to. Again, discoverability, and it starts with the data. So if you look at the shift between conversational commerce and where we're going with agentic commerce, it's the comparison of I need running shoes to I need running shoes that can be under $120, that can be shipped to Austin by Thursday, and then it just does it, and it shows up, and you don't see an ad, you don't have to click on a site to get there. So that's the world that we're shifting to. We're seeing that data is the new storefront, and data enrichment is really the new build, the infrastructure. So I think that agents don't care about ads. They care about the quality of the data. Where is it getting ingested from, and how well you're enriching that data. And this kind of leads into the big focus that I've been spending most of my time with in the partner ecosystem. I think there's two real big sources, and you've heard from Gina yesterday with the customer data that we see with Klaviyo and their new KDP. The other is the product data, and I think that's equally important. It's, we're partnering with data enrichment platforms, and it's, again, there's the unstructured data and the structured data that need to be parsed together to be then ingested in a certain way to certain LLMs. So, I think looking at those two tiers, I'm going to spend a little bit of time about who we're going to market with for product data, and then, I think with Klaviyo and their CDP, I think it's, such a strong tool. To Gina's point yesterday, too, there's a lot of services that we're seeing that we can wrap around these, agentic platforms. So if you think about the data fees, I have the example of Western Boots. Let me try to take this. There we go. So the Western Boots, right? Generic title, and then you look at the man's genuine leather Western boots. It's not a style preference. It's where it's showing up. Like one's going to be discovered, the other's going to be non-existent. So I think it depends on, again, what attributes and you're getting onto these LLMs. And so this is really kind of where we're seeing the transformation in our services. You can see, and I know that Clavio talked a little bit about audits, but we're really seeing most of our brands come to us and say, we want to invest in like a benchmark audit today. Like we're doing a lot of enrichment and orchestration audits, and then we're building the strategy around these discovery plans. And I use Feedonomics as an example, but there's so many other really strong data platforms out there. We have Ecommerce here today that has a really strong platform in Rhythm, but it's leveraging these platforms to ingest the data from all these other structured PIMs, and then we're doing the enrichment and partnered with them. There's some brands that come to us and want us to do it. It's kind of a build versus buy because we work with so many large brands. Some of them want to build their own data enrichment, but a lot of times, and I think for most of the agencies here in the room, like using some of these advanced tools can really enhance, because then they're going to need somebody to continually optimize the data. It doesn't go away, right? So that's where we're starting to see a lot of the opportunities and actual contracts close, is definitely around the strategy and optimization and the management. And then the customer data, as you saw with Gina yesterday, I mean, the lifetime data, real-time data, all of this is critical to being ingested and building services around. So yeah, the winning stack that we're seeing, like you have Shopify as your storefront, the product feeds, the customer data, and then we're wrapping a layer around everything. So there's definitely services out there. The brands that are thinking about this ahead of time and asking us to come in, like the shifts happen. So the leading brands we're seeing win are the ones that are having us start to benchmark and audit. And then this sounds very futuristic and sci-fi-ish, but like the agent to agent. So if you look at this, like today, ACP, Shopify is already in using ACP connection into OpenAI. There's already a shopping agent talking to an inventory agent that's talking to a logistics agent, and then the transaction just happens. So that's live today. We're seeing tons of customers also shift to being supported by UCP too. And then, the agent to agent. So I'd say if we're thinking about the future, not only through the agentic checkout, we're also seeing the build out of these brand agents. And then I think, again, we're going to go back and do, the structured product feeds. There's the unstructured data. There's the real-time inventory that's really important. You can't have the still data. And then the Clavio. And then we're also seeing a lot of clients leverage us to help build these connections. So the three things I would say today, it's get your data in a good place, understand the ecosystem. We're partnering with the leading payments, feed companies, and make sure that they're all agent ready. And then you want to also, know the ecosystem. So thank you guys.